Hey everybody, it's Ozone. Welcome back to Chosen's Modded Adventure here on the Dynasty SMP. As you can see, I've been a little busy here down below with my mob farm, as I said I would be. I went ahead and sort of prettified it up. It's not raw rock anyway, but it's definitely not a texture or an interior design. But I did decide that I didn't like looking down on the mob masher here, and so I dug everything out a little bit more so that we were on the ground level. And I do really like the big window here. It took a bit of work to get everything moved over, but overall, it's working out pretty well. Now, I've got some plans for today that involve a little bit of an adventure. You see, I need wither roses. I need wither roses so I can put these charms together along with a fourth charm that I'm unable to make into a mega charm that protects against everything. The charm talisman. Poison, wither, fire, lava, and void all in one big wonderful charm. But what I don't have and what I can't do is the wither charm here, which requires wither roses to make. So step number one, it's off to the nether to try to get some wither skeleton heads so that we can actually get some wither roses. Now, I could just get some wither roses from other people on the server. I asked around, some people have them, but I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way. So let's suit up in our gear and head off to the nether looking for those wither skellies. Now, in between episodes, I went on a little adventure here and raided an ocean monument. I killed all three of the Elder Guardians, and each one of them dropped an Elder Guardian statue, which sounds pretty good, but as I was trying to help Hex get some sponges for a project of hers, I've realized that you need to kill more Elder Guardians once you upgrade the statue. And 20 Elder Guardians is not that easy to get. But I do kind of like my little stack of Elder Guardian statues here. It looks pretty good. Now, I needed to get some prismarine so that I could work on the spawners, because prismarine is one of the elements that you use on the spawners in order to change the attributes. But that's neither here nor there. It was a fun exercise, and thanks to this charm of water breathing, which I didn't even use up completely, it was no problem at all. No fear of drowning, and really no fear of dying either with this overpowered armor. So, with that all in mind, let's go head to the nether and try to get some wither skeletons' heads. All right, we made it. Looks like Hex has been here with some lights, but I see a wither skeleton right there, and you, sir, I want. Now, oh, there's two of them. Very nice. What I got here in my hands here, and yes, I'm fireproof, Blaze, don't even think so. What I've got in my hand here is I've got a sword with capturing, because I don't want just the skulls. I want a spawn egg. Am I going to get a spawn egg? Well, it's going to take a long time for sure, but I think it's worth a try. Because if I get the spawn egg, I can have all the wither skulls that I want by just putting it into the spawner. So that's my plan anyway. Gotta find a good way into the inside because it's pretty light out here and wither skeletons need darkness. But that's the goal. Time to get grinding. I did it. I got a wither skeleton egg. I really didn't kill that many wither skeletons, honestly, but I guess the old capturing 6 enchantment really paid off. I don't even have any wither skeleton skulls in my inventory, but I do have a zombified piglin now, too. I guess that's the sweeping edge. I was getting the zombie piglins, and they were coming to attack me, so I had to kill some of them, too. And it paid off with eggs. Oh, beautiful. Oh, we got a magma cube egg as well. Lovely. Time to head on back, change out some of the spawners, and get to farming. All right, now that we are back home after a successful trip to the nether, it's time to adjust these spawners just a little bit. I've got this bottom one that is a drowned spawner, and there have never been any drowned that have spawned here. You know why? Well, because drown only spawn in water. You can't override the spawning conditions, or well, putting them in this container doesn't naturally override the spawning conditions. You can override the conditions, but you need a dragon egg for that, which that's kind of a rare supply, honestly. So I think the drown spawner might as well become the wither spawner or the wither skeleton spawner, because that's what I care about the most. Yes, it worked. Okay, Now, this one is a skeleton spawner, and again, I really don't care that much about the skeleton spawner. It's good for XP, but I think I like the idea of having creeper spawner instead. Perfect. The next one is a slime spawner, and well, I have gotten tons and tons of slimes, including slime eggs. I was lucky and got a magma cube egg, so let's change the slime spawner to magma cube. And then we got a cave spider, which is okay. Not particularly good, not particularly bad. And this one is the cycling combination zombie husk pillager spawner. And I was hoping to get emeralds from that one, from the pillagers, but I've never seen an emerald come through. So I think we might as well just change that one as well. It acts like just a regular zombie spawner, and well, a zombified piglin is going to be better than just a regular zombie, or husk, or a pillager that doesn't drop anything. So, yes. So that will give me some gold. The wither skeleton will give me some coal. And I've got compacting drawers for these things already set up here. But I'm definitely going to need some more drawers for the other new things that we've got here. Plus, I've got this other zombie spawner that could easily be added to the bottom of it. But I don't really feel like there's a strong need to do that at the moment. Let's see what other kinds of eggs I've got. See, look at that. 34 slime spawn eggs. I don't really even know how I did that. I think I was whacking at a bunch of slimes with my capturing sword here. A zombie and a guardian. But again, this needs water and a skeleton. So the spawn eggs aren't really helping me out. I've used all of the good spawn eggs that I have. Well, it's going to be hard to fill out the drawers unless I already have some of the materials, and I don't have the wither skeleton head. So I guess we just need to turn it on and try to collect some of those materials. And I guess I need to take away my demagnetizer because I need to collect those things up once again. Now I know there's got to be a better way. In fact, I know Create has some remote redstone, but for right now, I've got these levers. Woohoo! Wither skeletons! Yay! How many skulls am I going to collect? There, I finally did it. I got a wither skeleton skull. This actually took a little bit longer than I anticipated, honestly. But it's a first one, and now I can get the drawer set up, which is the important part. I wanted to also try to get in there with my capturing sword and get some of those spawn eggs back. You know, might as well try to collect the spawn eggs from the old spawner that I've got here. But right now, I think I don't want any magma cubes. I get to move this guy down one, and that should give me just wither skeletons and creepers. So maybe I'll actually get another spawn egg out of these guys, and I can do something. Well, replacing the spawn eggs that I currently have is a good thing. So this is my goal now. And as I'm sitting here, sticking my head into the area with these guys, two of the most dangerous mobs in the game, swinging past me, I am so glad that their AI has been turned off and they are not a significant threat. Oh boy. Oh, isn't modded fun? Well, that honestly took quite a lot longer than I anticipated, but I do have my wither skeleton egg that I used, and I got my creeper egg back, so we're all good there. But can you see how many wither skeleton heads I got? 6. And I was sitting there even using my looting sword, and not the capturing sword, for a little while just to see if we were going to get some. Because apparently the mob basher and the player damage plate that I have in there, while they do count as player kills, do not have any looting on them. So it's a pretty slow process. But it's enough. I can spawn a wither now. Yay! But I want to get some other stuff before we do that. But at least it is possible at this point. Next, I need a spawn egg for a passive mob for the wither to kill. And I think my little pin out here is going to be just fine. You guys have served your purpose. Hopefully, somebody's going to give me a spawn egg. Sheep spawn egg? No spawn egg. I thought my chances were pretty good. So I guess plan B is just to go off into the wilderness and keep slaughtering mobs. I guess. Till I can get a mob spawn egg up for one of the passive mobs because I don't really care. I just need the wither to be able to kill something. And I want to be able to use a spawner to get it done. Because when the wither kills something, well, that's when you get the wither rose. So I guess I'm going to go explore for some wild mobs, and I'll come back once I've got a spawn egg in hand. Oh, finally! Look at my backpack. It is just all full of stuff, and, well, I'm not real proud of a lot of the things that I've done here. But it was a neutral mob that I had hoped would give me an egg, and you would be surprised that even with capturing 6, it was a lot of animal slaughter going on here. I am really, really far away from the spawn area. Oh my goodness. But finally, I got a neutral spawn egg. I found a whole bunch of structures and did some exploring, and it's fun, but there's very little in these things that I actually care about anymore. What in the world is this thing? Looks like a grain storage silo. Oh well. But the hunt is over, and I can finally head back home. Fortunately, these little ender wings make it super fast. I'm back home. Well worth the investment on these things. Oh, it helps so much. Now, obviously, this was just the first part of the plan, right? And also, obviously, the plan is to create the wither and use a spawner, now with the pig egg, in order to give it a whole bunch of things to kill in order to get the wither roses. But I hear you asking, the wither's just going to fly away. I mean, yes, he'll kill the things for a little bit. Eventually, it'll break the spawner, and then you got a wild wither on your hands. Well, I love this part about modded. Did you know that there's some blocks that will withstand even the wither's blasts? Yep, it's a pretty common thing in modded, and I love doing it. And I've been working to make up a whole bunch of glass. This is tinted glass, but notice that it comes from mob grinding utils, and it says tough enough to withstand withers. So the wither won't be escaping. It just can't go anywhere because it can't break those blocks. Very, very handy. So I'm going to build myself a room and just let the wither run loose. And put a spawner in the room nearby so that stuff spawns inside. And then we use one of those advanced item collectors, like in the mob grinder downstairs, and pick up all of the wither roses. Super simple. Well, sort of. Nothing is ever as simple as it seems. Because even though we can modify the spawner conditions to ignore light and things like that, some spawners still have other spawn conditions. And while you can change that with the dragon egg, that is not so easily achieved. I mean, true, I could go kill the dragon. That's probably not that big a deal as decked out as I am, honestly, right now, but I kind of don't want to. But one of the things that I didn't think about is that when it comes to passive mobs, like the pig that I was going to use to feed the wither, they have spawn conditions that are not your normal dungeon mob spawning conditions. For the spawn chamber down here, we're using a bunch of normal mobs, creepers and zombies and skeletons, and they don't really have any other spawn conditions except for light level. But passive overworld mobs do. They can only spawn on grass blocks. Which makes sense, right? I mean, you want the mobs to be generating only on the overworld. You don't want them to be spawning in the caves where there wouldn't be any grass anyway. So it works out from a game mechanic point of view, but it doesn't work out so well from a wither containment point of view. Because while I can start with grass inside a box of tinted glass, it won't last. The wither will eventually break all that glass and then nothing else will spawn. So that was a shortcoming of my plan that I really didn't consider until I went into a creative world and tested it out. But there is one thing that will work just fine, and I've done this in the past, and I have already in the spawner right here, and that is a cave spider. Cave spider is considered a non-undead mob, and the wither will attack it. But it's also a dungeon mob, so it really doesn't have any other spawn conditions like grass or something like that. So rather than use the pig, which I actually worked really hard to go get, I need to get my cave spider. And I sure hope, oh, good, yeah. I was afraid I'd used the wrong pickaxe there. Oh boy. All right, well, now we are set. And unfortunately, I spent a lot of time getting a pig egg that I'm now not going to use. Oh well, that's how these things go sometimes. Well, I was out here heading to some place to try to find a place to build this, and well, it seems like somebody's already built a mob farm out here in the middle of the ocean, and maybe this will be a good place to go ahead and make my wither rose farm. It seems like it's already being used for a farm, because I'm not silly enough to try to actually do this in the spawn area or in my own house, right? Apparently I am silly enough to stop flying and fall into water, though. Anyway, it's just being, good steward of the area to not do this in spawn. So I think this sounds like a pretty good idea. We'll do this nearby and just down here on the surface of the water. Sounds like a good plan to me. So I think right here on this pillar is where I'm going to call center. So we'll do, I'm going to do a 5 radius mob farm around it because, well, the wither's kind of big shouldered. It needs a little room to move around. So I'm going to do this a little bit wider than it really needs to be. Well, right here in the center is where we're going to place the spawner. I've got myself a little box built out of this glass, and it's quite dark. I have a feeling this might become a bit of a drown farm underneath here. But, all right in the center. Now, this is still all set up to need a redstone control. So we're going to have to get a redstone signal to that, or disable that redstone control. And I think that's probably the thing that I want to do is just disable the redstone control. But as I've mentioned once before, the wither will destroy any blocks except for this tinted glass, which includes this spawner. And well, I don't want that to happen. So we need to take the glass and completely encase the spawner with it. And by completely encase, I mean even the corners, even though they're not directly connecting. If you cheap out on the corners, your spawner will break. I've done this in other packs, and that's always the case. Now I'm going to leave this block open because, like I said, I need to remove the redstone control. And apparently, I didn't quite make enough glass, so I got to go back and get more. But this is the gist of it, right? This is the containment chamber. I'm going to let the wither loose inside here. This spawner is going to make spiders, and the wither is going to kill them. And then up on the roof, there will be the collection system. So good progress, needs a little bit more work, and we'll come back when it's done. All right, it looks like I'm floating in the sky, doesn't it? But nope, I'm just inside a glass box with my spawner. I did go ahead and put a lever underneath there, and I think it will be safe. I'm concerned about leaving an open way for the blast to get to the spawner, but there are other cave spider spawners in the server, and I know I can replace it if I want to. But before we get the wither going, let's make sure and sleep the night away. Much better. We could see so much better. Fortunately, thanks to the spawner downstairs, getting 3 wither skeleton skulls really wasn't that big of a problem. So we can get this. Nope. Let me find a way out right here, and then we'll get the wither going. Because I didn't build the wither underneath my escape hatch. That's a little silly, isn't it? But before we do that, we need to get the whole collection system set up. Now I'm going really, really quick, cheap, and easy here on the collection system. We're just going to do a double chest and increase the range on this quite a bit. I really like this feature that shows me where it's going to be by looking at it, which it's not going to be far enough for sure. This coloring is really difficult to see, but I think it's okay. And yeah, that's all there is to it, honestly. Just make a box, contain the wither, give it some target to go kill, and boom, you've got yourself all the wither roses you could want. And that doesn't necessarily mean that this is the only block that can withstand withers. And like this one, this tempered dark glass from Sytle also says it can withstand wither blasts. Very nice. Or the dark connected glass. I could have used these just as easily. So check your mod pack. There are other like concrete blocks, like reinforced concrete block from Engineers something or other that will do it. And basically, like I've said before, it's not a terribly uncommon thing for a mod pack to do. It's just a little uncommon for people to recognize that it's there sometimes. You know, it's one of those things you got to go search for. Let's just warn the rest of the guys on the server, just in case, you know, there's noises that I don't want to scare them. All right, 1, 2, 3. Wither underway. There we go. Took a little bit of damage, but overall, no big deal. And the wither looks to be contained. Well, he's focused on me for sure, but nanner nanner boo boo, you can't get me. All right, well, let's turn on the spawner. That should do it. Hey, dummy, go look. Yay, you're killing stuff. Yay, get those spiders. Get those spiders. And looky here, we got spider string and wither roses. Easy peasy. Now, aside from the immense noise and the work that went into making this, the bottom line is I really only needed one wither rose, because you can plant a wither rose inside the botany pots and duplicate it there. And it's a whole lot easier than all of this. But this is a trick that I really enjoy having up my sleeve, and I thought you all might enjoy it too, right? I mean, nobody ever thinks to contain the wither in the overworld. It's just a given that it can't be done. But it can, with the right mods. So I hope you enjoyed this little feat of engineering. Like I said, I enjoy having it in my back pocket. Now, the one downside to this is that the wither skulls flying after the spiders do sometimes destroy the wither roses that you're after. And so it's not a 100% efficient farm. But you know what? It's good enough, I think. Good enough for who it's for, as they say. All right, after all that, I'm finally back home to finally complete the process that we started at the very beginning of this episode. Wait, what was it? Oh, right. To create the wither charm so that we can put them all together into the super talisman. Let's go. Now, what do we need? Just any? No, it's got to be specifically gray concrete. Yeah, interesting. All right, well, I'll be right back with that. All right, well, now I'm finally back with the gray concrete, and things are being a little bit weird. It's not letting me, like, make this... Ah, great. Everything went back into the system. And I think maybe because these charms have unbreaking and mending on them. I'm not terribly sure. So I think if I just get these in the right place, it might work. It will. But my mending and unbreaking on these charms is gone. That's okay. That's okay. I am pretty happy, though, with being able to get one single charm that gives me protection from everything. It's the protection from everything charm, and it leaves me more charm slots for other things, like, you know, this water breathing charm, or maybe a regeneration charm. Oh, it helps out so much. So this whole thing was just to get me that super charm, and, well, I think it was worth it. But it wasn't exactly easy. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. And one more thing I just figured out. This thing works in multiple slots: belt, ring, charm, and necklace. I don't have any things that go into the next necklace slot, so I'll put it there. And that leaves up the charm slots for these other charms. Wow, that is icing on the cake that it goes into other slots. I love all these trinket slots. They really help you to expand your character loadout, right? Your armor and all this stuff. It just, pretty soon we're going to be unkillable, I think. But I think, as usual, that is the time that we have for this episode. I really focused on this wither rose farm. It's a lot of fun, and it's one of the things that I really enjoy doing, and I really hope that you found it useful too. If you did, please consider hitting that like button on the video. It really helps out. But for now, we'll say so long, and until the next episode, remember, be excellent to each other. I'm out.